everyone, I'm Stephanie from the Insight Studio, and you are watching HubSpot, our YouTube show that helps you leverage HubSpot so that you could grow your company. Today, we're going to go over the form tool. So, we're going to build a form from scratch, and then we will go on and in our next video embed it into a landing page. Let's dive in. Form in HubSpot. We are on the main login page, the marketing dashboard. To get to forms, we're going to click on marketing at the top, go down to lead capture, and then click on forms. This is where you can see all of your published or unpublished forms. We're in a test portal, so there's really nothing here, but we are going to click create form in the top right. Two types of forms here, regular and pop-up form. Today we're going to do our demo based on a regular form, but pop-up form is just how it sounds. That's going to be your sign up for our newsletter or whatever you want to use it for. We are going to create a default test on request a demo. So we're going to click regular form, click next. I'm going to use a blank template, but you do have some pre-built things in here that you could play around with. All right, and like I always say, be really good about naming. Always pretend like you're gonna have 1,000 forms in here, so you need to be really specific. So I'm gonna go request a demo default form, however you wanna do it. Maybe even do the date. Today's actually Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And it's always going to put this email address in here first because that is HubSpot's default property. I always change it right away because email is not specific enough. And so if you click on it, it will bring you into your label. So I always do either company or business. I tend to say company. The bigger key is to be consistent. So company email address helps them know that you don't want their Gmail account. And then if you scroll to the bottom, you can click this block free email providers. What that means is if I'm on this form and I say, stephsample@gmail.com, it's going to pop up and be like, you need to be more specific when you use that. Please use a company email address, something like that. So click that. You can see the list. There's so many of them. To open it up. And there you go. So let's go build our form now. So company email address. And this is specific to you. One thing we always like to remind people is you want to ask on a form the value you can deliver to them in exchange. So don't over ask for information that isn't going to be valuable enough to the person filling it out to give to you. In this case, it's a requested demo form, meaning they're very interested. They're essentially what we call hand raisers. So we can ask quite a bit of information. Let's put the company name up top. And then here are like the default properties that people will sometimes use. And so you can go through these or you can create new fields. A question I get a lot is, it's a deal property. Why can't I put my deal property in here? Or I search for it and it's not popping up. That's because forms are made for contacts to fill out, not deals or companies. What that means is you still might need to collect information that's related to the deal, but you're going to have to create a property for it that's a contact property. So next question is, but I need it to be a deal property. No worries. We'll have another video on how to copy a contact property to a deal property. So build a workflow and copy it over if you need to. So in this case, I want the company name. I want to know the person that's sending it to me, but maybe I don't need a whole line for that. So for the last name, I'm going to hover over it and click on this little side button, and that's going to split the two, the company. And then I always like mobile phone number. Some people put phone number. It's really up to you, I guess, in this case. Let's go phone number, but then just like we did with email, let's come in here and say spell that right, company phone number. just to try to be consistent here in what they're going to give us. If it matters, you could put in state, city, only if it matters. Don't worry about it. But look, here we can put in the company size. We could put in industry if that's relevant to this demo. But here you can see all of your options of what to put in. And then if you really need something that's not an option here, well, let's not forget this one, website URL. You can come down here and create your own. So create new field, and it's just like you're in the property settings, but it's allowing you to do it here. So maybe you have a drop down that you need created, and you can say what best describes you. And it's like small business growth. Wow, can't spell today. Growth mode, etc., etc. You can click on the property settings here and then hit save. So that just added that to my contact properties when I did that. So just be mindful of that. Don't go like crazy here, know your people are going to see all these properties. So we have some basic properties. We're going to ask this person when they fill out this form. This is a really big form, probably bigger than I would normally make. But say you know that anyone that fills out this form is a certain persona for your company. We're going to make what's called a hidden property to capture that, where they aren't saying, hey, I'm your buyer persona, but you know that by filling out this form they are. So let's go down here and start with persona, since that's where I started. I'm going to put persona right here. Click on it. Make this property hidden. And then we don't have any personas, but if we did have personas, we could select them. I don't want to go do a whole nother thing on it. But in this case, we would then, the drop down of personas would show up. You would click on the persona you want, and your person filling out the form won't see this, but it will update that contact property. And I can show you with life cycle stages or lead status. Yeah, let's go. Let's use the life cycle stage one as an example. And let's click on it and let's say, make this field hidden. And then let's come down here and say, everyone's different. And so with these, the bigger deal is to be consistent. But let's say a hand raiser, we call a sales qualified lead. Actually, they're marketing qualified. They aren't sales qualified until we know. So now that this field is hidden and this is checked, every time someone fills out this form, it's going to make that new person a marketing qualified lead. So the only other thing, there's a couple more things. If you notice this star here, this means that it's a required property. You might do it here too. All you do is click on the property you want to make required and you click make this field required. Super simple. And then now that we have the basics of our form, let's just follow the steps. So with HubSpot, it's usually pretty clear. You kind of bounce along these steps along the time. So form follow-up, this is new and it's really great. So right here, every time you get a form submitted, you can now create a follow-up email right here, which is great. I'm going to skip that for now though. I'm going to go to options, display thank you. Rule of thumb is you always want to redirect to a thank you page that has potential next steps. So maybe a thank you page with a calendar on it so people could go ahead and book with you. So you can find your thank you page or go create it and put it here. Send submission notifications. So this is where you can list out anyone you want to get your submission notifications. There's some new properties down here. Always create contacts for new email addresses. I usually turn that on. Add links to reset forms. So you want someone to be able to reset it if they go there a second time. Turn that on and off. If it's in your HubSpot, do you want them to pre-fill it out? In this request a demo, I would guess not, because you maybe don't want everyone to know how much information you have on the HubSpot account on them, or who knows. There's lots of reasons to select or not select this. Last step, style and preview. So this is where you make it your own. Make sure you always view it in tablet and mobile too. It's very important. So this is, these are basics, but we really care more about the style to match your company. So down here, pop-ins, font, label, yep, help color, maybe not, GDPR, button, we always want it to be our colors. I think it's really interesting on this one, and maybe it will change soon, that the normal colors don't come up with your favorites. You actually have to type in your code here. Kind of wonky. In your settings for forms, you can set your default button color, which is why my color's coming up here. But if not, it would be that HubSpot orange and you would have to type in your hex code. So use your form settings to change that. So there we go. I'm gonna say, great, I like it. And kind of go through to next steps. There is something I do want to change though. Let's go back to form and let's click on the submit button. We didn't go over that. So I'm ready for a demo. You can change your text however you want here just by clicking on the button on the form. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss that with y'all. And so there we have it. I could look at it on a tablet, and I can look at it on mobile. And then as soon as I'm ready, let's go back to options. I forgot to do this. So because I hit redirect, it's making me pick a page I want to redirect it to. And so at this point, it's going to let me publish it. You also have some other options once it's published. You can also share it from here. Say you're sending it to a web developer, but let's publish our form. And look, we have our embed code right here. So if you're not using a HubSpot landing page, this is the code your developers will need. You could also share a link. So right there, you can preview your link in a new tab. But chances are you're going to want this code right here if you're using non-HubSpot pages. And then you are good to go. You can hit exit and we are good. Well, let's publish it one more time. Yep, we are good. So now if I go back to forms, we're going to see it here now. We'll be able to see views, submissions, all of that, your submission rates. This is also, if you need the code again, where you can get that code, you can come here and click view submissions. You can create a list of contacts out of your form too, which I highly recommend just because it's kind of nice to see. And then if you're gonna make a similar form, you can just go clone it instead of starting from scratch. So that's the basics of forms. Okay, everyone, that was forms. I know I went really fast, but there was a lot to cover there. So slow it down, rewatch it, comment and ask us questions. But forms are a really great way to free up your salespeople, to automate some processes so that you can focus on growing your company. Like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help. I'm Stephanie from the Insight Studio. You're watching Hubsess. That's the Insight Studio's YouTube channel on how you can leverage HubSpot to grow your company. If you need a HubSpot administrator or digital marketing help, that's what we're here for. You can visit us at theinsightstudio.com, and I hope you found this really helpful. Thanks. Bye.